Question: Who was Levi, the transcriber of this book? Regarding the personality of Levi, we are permitted to write but little. Suffice it to say that he is an American citizen and has been a close student of the religions of the world from childhood. When but a boy, he was impressed with the sensitiveness of the finer ethers and believed that in some manner they were sensitized plates on which sounds, even thoughts, were recorded. With avidity, he entered into the deeper studies of etheric vibration, determined to solve the great mysteries of the heavens for himself. 40 years he spent in study and silent meditation, and then he found himself in that stage of spiritual consciousness that permitted him to enter the domain of these superfine ethers and become familiar with their mysteries. He then learned that the imaginings of his boyhood days were founded upon veritable facts, and that every thought of every living thing is there recorded. In his manuscript called The Cusp of the Ages, a part of which we have already reproduced in this introduction, we find the following copy of the commission which Levi received from Vissel, the goddess of wisdom, or the holy breath. This is Levi's commission. And then Vissel, the Holy One, stood forth and said, O Levi, son of man, behold, for you are called to be the message bearer of the coming age, the age of spirit blessedness. Give heed, O son of man, for men must know the Christ, the love of God, for love is sovereign balm for all the wounds of men, the remedy for every ill. And man must be endowed with wisdom and with power and with an understanding heart. Behold the Akasha, behold the record galleries of Vissel, where every thought and word and deed of every living thing is written down. The needs of men are manifold, and men must know their needs. Now, Levi, hearken to my words. Go forth into these mystic galleries and read. There you will find a message for the world, for every man, for every living thing. I breathe upon you now the holy breath. You will discriminate, and you will know the lessons that these record books of God are keeping now for men of this new age. This age will be an age of splendor and of light, because it is the home age of the holy breath, and holy breath will testify anew for Christ, the Logos of eternal love. At first of every age, this Logos is made manifest into flesh, so man can see and know and comprehend a love that is not narrow, circumscribed. 12 times in every revolution of the sun, this Christed love of God is made full manifest in flesh upon the plains of earth, and you may read in Akasha the wondrous lessons that these Christs have taught to men. But you shall publish not to men the lessons of the Christs of ancient times. Now, Levi, message bearer of the spirit age, take up your pen and write. Write full the story of the Christ who built upon the solid rock of yonder circle of the sun, the Christ whom men have known as Enoch the Initiate. Write of his words as write of his works as prophet, priest, and seer. Write of his life of purity and love, and how he changed his carnal flesh to flesh divine without descending through the gates of death. And you may write the story of Melchizedek, the Christ who lived when Abraham lived, and pointed out to men the way to life through sacrifice, who gave his life a willing sacrifice for men. And you may write the story of the Prince of Peace, the Christ who came as babe in Bethlehem, and travelled every way of life that man must tread. He was despised, rejected, and abused, was spit upon, was crucified, was buried in a tomb, but he revived and rose a conqueror over death, that he might show the possibilities of man. 1,000 times he said to men, I came to show the possibilities of man. What I have done all men may do, and what I am all men shall be. These stories of the Christ will be enough, for they contain the true philosophy of life, of death, and of resurrection of the dead. They show the spiral journey of the soul until the man of earth and God are one forevermore. Levi in prophecy. About 2,000 years ago, Elihu, who conducted a school of the prophets in Zoan, Egypt, referred to Levi thus: "This age will comprehend but little of the works of purity and love, but not a word is lost, for in the book of God's remembrance a registry is made of every thought and word and deed. And when the world is ready to receive, lo, God will send a messenger to open up the book and copy from its sacred pages all the messages of purity and love. Then every man of earth will read the words of life in the language of his native land, and men will see the light, and man again will be at one with God." That is in Aquarian Gospel, chapter 7, verses 25 to 28. Further references to the personality of Levi are seemingly unnecessary. It matters but little who he is. His work in the transcription of the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus the Christ stands unimpeachable. The lessons of this book all bear the stamp of the Nazarene, for no man except the world's greatest master could have touched the high chords of divine love and wisdom which characterize the pages of this marvelous book. I think that says it all for me anyway, why this book has been particularly significant in my life and development of, as a person. What really touches me in this book is this idea of unity between all people and all things, not just on this planet, but in all existence. And also the fact that there is hope. Religion seems to condemn and focus on the negatives, right? But what I've got from this book and from Jesus's teachings, which you can find in the Bible if you really study Jesus's teachings, you find hope, salvation, redemption. You can see why Jesus would have hung around prostitutes and outcasts, why he would have healed the blind, the lepers, the people who would have been failed and would have been ditched by society. And that's what I love about Christ, and more so his ministry and the lessons he left for us, because we need to apply them. It's not just for us to look back and look at it as a historical thing and whatever. I think we need to actually apply it to our lives and ourselves. Imagine everybody agreed with this book and followed this book and the teachings that Jesus left, not only in this book but in the Bible. Imagine we weren't religious about things anymore and we purely looked at the substance of Jesus's words and teachings and followed them. Wouldn't it be a much greater world? So if I can start to apply his teachings to my own life, because I'm not perfect, but again, there is this whole hope and this whole anticipation of development, which you can hope that you get to that stage where you can have unconditional love and you can purify yourselves with that love. And I believe love is contagious. So for me, I look at this book as a manual, a pick-me-up guide, if you want to call it that. And God help me, hopefully I get there. Hopefully we all get there and we eradicate inequality in this world and just try and have a utopia, because I believe Jesus did not come again for the purposes of turning this world into utopia. I think he came to leave us a blueprint of how we can make that utopia, and it's for us to make it. If he comes back, fair enough, but why wait on him to come back? Let's do it now.